Somebody ring the dinner bell. It is time for dinner one more time. So we have some great recipes in this video. I'm so happy that you have joined in. I love it so much when you come by and spend a little time with me in the kitchen. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, hit the red subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you like What's for Dinners, and we're going to start this one off with a brand new recipe for cracked out chicken noodle soup. So let's just jump right on into it. Alright, this is the recipe for the cracked out chicken noodle soup. This one's all around Pinterest. I've seen it actually on a couple of YouTube videos, but it's a pretty good while back, and I just got around to making it. I thought from the beginning this looked really good and I wanted to try it. So we are going to get started on putting together this cracked out chicken noodle soup. Alright, you're going to need 3 cups of chicken breast cooked. I used one very large boneless skinless chicken breast. I boiled that on the stove, which in turn I'm going to use the broth from that for the recipe as well, because it does require some chicken broth. So after my chicken was cooked and cooled, I shredded that up, and now to the pan I'm going to add my carrots and celery. So it's 2 carrots and a half a cup of celery. You could variate those amounts, I'm sure, with what you had or with what you preferred. And now I'm going to add in some garlic cloves. Next, I'm adding in my chicken broth that I reserved from cooking my chicken earlier. It's going to be a total of 6 cups. I'm going to sprinkle in some black pepper pretty liberally because I think black pepper and chicken soup go together perfectly. And then I want to be sure and point out, don't add any additional salt to this recipe because you are using a dry ranch dressing packet, and there is also cheese in this recipe, so you can always add additional salt if you need it, but you cannot take it back out, and it would not be a good thing to have the soup that you work so hard for to be too salty. So be careful with that. And I didn't even mention that it also has bacon, so I'm pretty sure this isn't going to need any additional salt. Now, the recipe did not call for the garlic, nor does it call for parsley flakes, but I put those in as just personal preference. I really didn't have very much parsley flakes in here, but I sprinkled in what I had, and we're going to let this start cooking. Now, upon reading a lot of the reviews for this soup, several people said it got really too thick and it didn't really feel like a soup. So what I'm going to do is just kind of keep an eye on that. I don't want it to feel like a thick chicken spaghetti type dish. I want it to feel, like it is a soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep an eye on that, and I have got some dry chicken base. I can easily mix that with water and add more broth to this. That way, if it needs to be thinned down some. So I'm going to just keep an eye on that as I go along. Alright, next I am adding in 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and then I'm also frying up my bacon. The recipe calls for 12 strips, and sad day, I only had 4, so that is what I used, but 12 of course would be better. And now comes the noodle portion of this soup. It calls for 8 ounces of spaghetti. I have angel hair, so that is what I'm going to add in. It is now time to stir in 1 cup of whole milk and 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. And now with my kitchen scissors, I am just chopping up that bacon to add to the soup. I think that's a really fun component here on this soup. It really did have a great flavor. We're going to get that all stirred in, and time for a taste test. I did not think it needed anything but just a little more black pepper, so that's what I sprinkled in. I just kept this on really low heat until it was time to eat, which was just a few minutes after I had it done. Also, the recipe that I followed did call for cream cheese. I just did not feel like that was necessary for this soup, and that was right. It didn't need anything else. Cream cheese would have definitely thickened it up even more, and I felt like this was just about the right consistency. And there's the final look at the soup. This was family night at our house. We served up the soup with a delicious sandwich bar. We had all sorts of yummy lunch meat, some fresh turkey and bologna and corned beef and various kinds of cheeses. We have all the toppings to make the sandwiches really special. And there's sweet little Fisher. He fell in the driveway and he was telling me all about his boo-boo. Bless his heart. So yeah, we also had this little Cracker Barrel cream cheese spread to go on Ritz Crackers. And we had two kinds of bread, the sweet Hawaiian and the sourdough, just a variety of chips and dip, and then a simple dessert, Rice Krispie treats. I made those earlier in the day and just sliced up some fresh strawberries. And so this was really good. We just felt like, or rather I felt like, chicken soup and sandwiches just sounded delicious. We all like the soup. I would definitely make it again. And if you are interested in making it, just look down below and there is my sandwich. Loaded. It was so good. Okay, and so this recipe is the chicken and cheese stuffed crescent rolls, or cheesy chicken crescent pockets, or pillow puffs. I've seen all sorts of names for these through the years. I've made these for a long time. I just don't make them real often. I have made them here on the channel. I will have that video linked below. I will also have the recipe down below, so be sure and check for that. But this is really good. It's a comfort food meal. It's an easy one. Basically, you need some cooked chicken. It needs to be shredded and seasoned. You're going to need some cheese, some crescent rolls, and some cream of chicken soup and milk, and that's the gravy that you pour over top, and you bake them. It's a very easy recipe. It is delicious. It feels like you're eating a mix of like a pot pie or a dumpling, all the good things in these delicious little chicken and cheese crescent rolls. So let's get right on into this recipe. This is one, if you haven't tried, maybe you'll give this one a try. I think you would like it. Here they are out of the oven, golden brown on top, cheesy, delicious pockets of chicken and cheese. I love the cheese on the top. These are so good, you guys. I cannot tell you enough about how good these are. I could have made these in one 9x13. I just got out too small of a dish to start with, so I just ended up doing two. I just served this alongside some homemade mashed potatoes, some green beans, and some cottage cheese. This was so good. I'm ready to make this one again. Tonight I am pan frying these big old ribeyes because it's just flat out too cold to grill outside. I'm also making a delicious broccoli cauliflower casserole and some mashed potatoes. So let's get on into tonight's dinner. For this side dish, I am making broccoli cauliflower casserole. I've got a big bag of broccoli. Of course, I'm not using all that. I have a smaller bag of cauliflower. I am going to use all this. So for the most part, I'm going to use equal parts broccoli and cauliflower. I'm not going to measure it out, but just the eyeball, whole bag of cauliflower and some of this broccoli. And I have a favorite recipe that I use, but I'm not making that one tonight. I'm going to make a different one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this the oven method, completely in the oven, rather than cooking anything on the stove top. So I'm going to Use this little 8x8 glass dish here. Get everything inside. Okay, I think this is about the amount that I want. I'm just gonna kind of spread that apart here. Okay, now to this, I have got about 1/4 of a block of Velveeta. This is some other brand. I don't usually buy Velveeta because I feel like all the rest of it tastes equally as good and it's a fraction of the price. So I'll just kind of chunk this up and I'm just gonna kind of put it throughout. Really no rhyme or reason. This is gonna melt all down through. I'm not adding any extra liquid because the liquid off of this broccoli and cauliflower that's frozen will provide plenty. I'm just kind of tucking it in here. All the little nooks and crannies. I've been really loving this garlic salt from Aldi lately. I usually just use garlic powder, but this garlic salt is really, really good. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit because this cheese is salty enough as it is. So this is like the easiest version of a broccoli casserole that you could do. Okay, I think I'm gonna just cover this with foil and get this in the oven. I'm gonna bake this for about 1/2 an hour, and for the last maybe 10 minutes or so, then I am going to do the Ritz cracker topping. So I'll show you that when it's time. All right, here it is out of the oven. Everything has melted and it looks delicious. I'm gonna give this a good stir. Let's see what it looks like. All right. Oh yeah, look at this. This has turned into a really, really creamy cheese sauce. Yes, love it, love it, love it. Okay, now I'm going to get on my Ritz crackers. And I like a lot of Ritz crackers as a topping. The recipe that I love so much, it takes chopped broccoli. There's no cauliflower, it's chopped broccoli, and it's super fine. Like when you dip it out, like it stays together, if you understand what I'm saying. It actually includes Ritz crackers in the filling with the chopped broccoli. It is really good. I've never made that one on my channel. I'll have to do that, but so I do like a lot of Ritz crackers. So you could even put Ritz cracker down in here and that would kind of absorb some of this, and that would be just great as well. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna do it as the topping. Okay, I just softened 1/2 stick of butter in the microwave, and I'm gonna add 1 tube of Ritz crackers first, and then I'll see how that looks. I usually just keep it seam side up like this and just gently push. Here we go. And then I just kind of do it in the package. It works out just fine. If you're careful, watch what you're doing. I am pretty brand sensitive to Ritz crackers. I just like them better than any others. So I think they're just the best, the softest, the most buttery. All right, and here we go. Perfect. Let's give that a stir and just see what the butter to cracker ratio we've got going on. All right, that's looking pretty good, I think. And then we'll see if we need any more. Actually, I think that looks about right. If I were to have my preference, I would probably put on a little bit more, but I actually think this is really probably enough. And then I will put this back in the oven uncovered just for maybe 5-ish minutes, maybe toast that up just a little bit. Okay, I've got my big griddle here. You can see it's my long one that fits on my stovetop. This is a stovetop
pan. It's not really a griddle, I guess. But I'm going to use this Trader Joe's garlic flavored olive oil that I love so much. Like I said, we don't pan fry steaks in the house very often. My mom always pan fried steaks. I remember when we did get a grill, but we didn't always have a grill. But the key is, I've learned from James, you want to get the pan really, really hot before you put it on. And cast iron is preferred, but I'm doing it on this tonight to save time so I can do them both at once. About this. This plate helps to show how huge this ribeye steak is. Absolutely huge. It fills the plate. They both look really good. We used the meat thermometer and got them up to I think medium and medium rare. So yeah, apparently James can't have anything else to eat tonight because
it's all fit on the plate.
That's all that fits on the plate.
That's right.
Okay.
And this is Henry.
Hi.
Hi guys, tell me what we're getting ready to eat.
We're getting ready to eat steak.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Show me the puppy.
Show him puppy.
He's wearing underwear.
Underwear and socks.
Because it's real cold out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Gigi also made mashed potatoes and broccoli because you asked for it today.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi.
All right, here's my broccoli and cauliflower casserole, my mashed potatoes. I put these just on a little saucer here because I want to have room on my plate for my steak and I don't want any steak juice getting on my other sides. So there's that, and of course I showed you the steak. Here's what this looks like after it was toasted up in the oven with the Ritz Crackers getting all browned up. So we're gonna dive in. That's what's for dinner tonight.
And that's a wrap, you guys. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate every time you come by. I hope you found some dinner inspiration. I hope it's warming up in your neck of the woods and everybody's doing great. And until next time, I'll see you around.